Hey everybody, welcome to another Flower of Simplicity inspiration. This inspiration is different environment, right? Kind of different layout. And the reason being is that my laptop said, I am not going to boot up for you. So I thought, wow, amazing. So I searched around for ways to fix it, and etc. And then it was just like, wow, I'm starting to feel like those days when I would just get too much into becoming a technician. I just said, okay, you know what? I'll find an easy answer, but in terms of doing the video today, I was going to see if I can solve that so I can get that computer running so I can get back to the way I know how everything is done, right? And it became the topic of today because I had an idea for a topic. I had it all laid out, and then I was talking to my wife about it, and she says, sounds like you got yourself a topic there. And I went, it's brilliant. Okay, yes, we're going to do that. That's brilliant. So the topic today is basically on how are you in situations where unexpected issues can come up and you may not have all the elements that you would normally say, okay, as long as I have these 5 elements, then things are going to go smoothly. Do you look for alternative methods, or do you say, well, you know what, that was just a big rock put into my river now because now I'm feeling a lot of resistance in here and I can't get around this rock because I need my 5 elements to be all in alignment. So with the video for me, I have the whole methodology down, and I was even thinking, it's like, wow, if I can't use that computer, then I'll have to use a computer, and then I'll have to put the watermark down here, right? So I said, no, I'm going to put the watermark here, and it's real-time watermarking, and got that. Okay, that's solved. It's like, okay, this is vertical format, and I have to post this. It'll probably be posted on YouTube with some black space on the side, I'm guessing, but we'll see how that goes. But I didn't, but part of me was thinking, oh, I could just put up on Monday morning technical difficulties with the computer or with the camera, right? And this is like, no, I'm going to find a method that I can still give you a video here and give an inspiration. So what ended up happening too, which is kind of funny how it all happened, about a week ago, my hard drive was starting to make some sounds, right? Some sort of odd sounds. So I did a backup of it all. And I think in the past I had heard sounds before, and I was just like, whatever, and then crash. Everything's gone. So I did a backup, and so I have that in my head that it's like, wow, I'm glad I did that. And then I was able to at least check the hard drive a bit to see that for the computer right now, all the data's on there, so I can get the data off of it. But it was just funny when it wouldn't boot up, so access to all my software, don't have that right now, which is really interesting. So the alternative at that same time was presented because a couple days ago I was thinking, wow, you know what, I've done some design work now, and I'm able to buy what I've wanted to buy all this time that I always joke about, right? So finally bought an iPad 2. And so this is being recorded on the iPad 2, which is which is hilarious, right? So I'm thinking, wow, this iPad 2 has a better camera on it than my old MacBook. And I looked at those situations where it's just like, wow, was the laptop scared that it was being replaced by the iPad 2? So it just says, you know what, I'm shutting down. I just laugh at these situations, right, where I give, in many ways, inanimate objects animated personalities and stuff. So as we're going on with this method, so it's like, okay, I don't have all those other elements that I'd say I would need to make this video. I'm just going for an alternative, and I'm making it with this, and I'm going to post this up on YouTube like this. So if there's situations in your life where that come up and you don't have, maybe it's only 3 elements that you need. 1, 2, 3, right? And if you don't have one of those, do you get frozen? And do you say, you know what, no, it can only be done this way, it can only be done this way, and we need that element. Maybe look at those situations to say, switch the questions that you're asking in your mind, and ask a question that says, is there an alternative way that we can do this? Is there another way we can look at this situation that may be completely open to the way we were thinking in comparison to the way we were thinking before? So an idea comes up of a situation, not an idea, but a story that when I was up at Banff, normally I would edit that out, but I'm not going to. I was up at Banff doing a presentation, so there were a bunch of presentations going on, and then the previous speaker was in front of me. She was already doing her presentation, and her presentation was getting near the end, and I'm at the back, and I had found out that during my little 5-10 minute tech session, the projector, because my computer was too old or something was wrong with the port, wouldn't communicate. So I couldn't use my laptop, which I was like, no, that's all there. That's how I'm gonna be. Like it was one of those elements. Like this is how I planned it. This is the way it's supposed to work. But my computer's not gonna interface with the projector, so I thought I could either put the laptop up front and show everybody the screen, but it was a really small screen. And then I said, no, wait, I brought CDs, yeah, not VHS tapes. But I brought CDs that were blank CDs that I could back up my data onto. Didn't have a USB key at that time. And so I just said, I'm going to back up the presentation while she's doing her presentation. So I could hear how far she was getting along in her presentation, how close to the end she was. And here I am copying my file over, and it was like I was in a movie, like from a long time ago, you know, the net where you're copying the file over there. It's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then you're just seeing that that bar go so slow. So then I hear her presentation come to the end. She says, well, that just about wraps it up. Does anybody have any questions? And in my head, it was like, please ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. And I don't think anybody had any questions. And I'm still watching that bar just go, it's like, whatever. It's like 87%, 88%. It's like, oh, come on, come on, come on. Maybe we can have a break or something like that. And then I hear them say, well, since we're running just a bit behind, we got to a later start, we're not going to take any breaks here. We're just going to go into the next presentation. And so they look back at me, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's like 92%, 93%. Okay, okay. And I just nod. I just go, yep, just 1 minute. And then it goes, ba-ding, right? And then bang, I take the CD out. Hey, awesome. Okay. I've got my new element now. Plop that into the computer at the front. And then it loads up in the program, which is awesome, which is great. And then I start the presentation. I thought, okay, this is awesome, doing the new path. And as I'm talking, I'm getting to slide 10 or 11 or 12. I realize on slide 11 or 12, oh, I copied over the old version of the presentation. So I don't, these images are different from what I was going to speak. So I went, oh. And what do you do in that point? You either like just hide in shame all of a sudden and just go beet red and get embarrassed and overwhelmed and worry about judgments of everybody there. But what I did in that moment, which was kind of interesting because it'll just be a situation, and this is how I reacted to it. I just said, okay, and then I started going back through the slides from 11 all the way to 1, and I just made this sound like, and I just said, okay, we're going to start this over. I looked to see if I had copied over the later version of it, because I copied a couple files over, and I said, okay, I'm just going to start with this one, and I started the next one, and it was the right presentation. So I was able to go on with that presentation, but what it reminded me in that situation was that we're all human, right? We're all, if we were able to picture ourselves in the shoes of the person that's at the front where the presentation's not working or whatever, we want to have that compassion for that person, because if it was us, we would want all that support to say, hey, it's going to be all right. He's going to be able to do this, or she's going to be able to do this, and it'll all run smoothly. So just going with that feel, I was able to get to that point where it's just like, no, it's just going to work out. I didn't get overwhelmed. Probably if it was back in high school or college or whatever, there would have been a bit of that. It's like, oh my God, they think that I'm, oh my God, and all this garbage would start coming in and just freeze. And I just say, you know what, I'm not doing this. But as we learn through life, life is just life, and we get through everything, right? We go through every situation, and we learn to look at it through our experience in different ways, because we've gained confidence along the way. And as we go through it, it's just like, you know what, this is not something that's going to embarrass me right now. It's not something that I feel that I need to get embarrassed over. I'm just going to continue on and be open and laugh about it, And that's why that whole like doing these silly things, and that's pretty much how I am in life too, of just saying, well, highway's jammed or whatever, or bus is running late, and it's like, okay, well, we just have to either walk to the next stop or catch another bus or just do these things, but always looking for those alternatives. So yeah, in your life, are there situations where sometimes you may feel that if you don't have the 3 to 5 elements that you know it's going to work that way, does that become a rock in your river and just freeze you? Or are you able to sort of look and say, well, even though there's this big rock here, I see the water still flowing on the sides. Water, wow, water goes along there. And that whole Bruce Lee quote comes back, right? Be like water, my friend, right? Be like water. Water can go around the rock. He never said that in his speech, but it's like the water becomes the teacup. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup and all that, right? You put a rock in your river and water flows around the rock, right? So be like water, my friend. So do you get to those situations where you can be like water, my friend, and go on with that? I will leave that with you this week. Hope you're having an awesome week. Hope your computers are all running awesome, and we'll see you next week, and everything will be back to normal. So it is. Thanks for tuning in. As always, joy, light, and love, and namaste.